that that a lot of the gunfire was coming like from within, way inside the building. So they could have been arming themselves and making preparations inside the buildings. Obviously, did you have any way to know that? Any way to sense that there was something untoward going on inside those buildings or behind the buildings?
Question is that based on the videotape shot by the news station, it indicated that much of the fire initially came from inside the compound, through the walls, through the windows, that type of thing. And did we have any way to know that obviously something was going on inside the building? And the answer to that is no. Once our undercover agent exited the compound, we had no way to know what was happening inside the compound. We only had a visual observation of the compound structure and the outside area, and there was no activity that was out of the ordinary on any other day that we had observed the compound from the outside. Yes, sir.
So you're saying you did not receive any indications. I understand that the weapons during this time of the day were normally put in a locker. Is that correct, or locked up in some form or fashion?
We're not positive what was done with the weapons inside. The information that we had, your question is, weren't the weapons locked up in a locker or put away in some fashion during the course of a day? Our intelligence information indicated that there was an arms cache where the weapons were secured. Whether or not certain persons may have had weapons accessible to them that were not located there is certainly a possibility, but we have no way of actually knowing that for a fact.
Did your undercover agent or any informant that you might have had indicate to you that locker or weapons cache was unlocked prior to your agents going in, whereas normally it would be locked at that time on a Sunday?
The question is, did our undercover agents or any other sources that we may have had indicate that that particular weapons cache was accessible or unlocked on that date? I'm not going to characterize any of the statements that the undercover agent made about what he observed inside the compound that morning. I will tell you that we had information that the weapons were secured on a daily basis, with the possible exception that some people may have had firearms accessible to them without going there, and we had no information to indicate otherwise on that day. In the back.
On the one hand, you said that your intelligence over 2 months and on the day of the raid did not give any indication that these fellows had a battle plan waiting for the agent. On the other hand, you said that obviously they did have a battle plan, because when you got there they were well deployed and effective in their fire. Isn't that a palpable failure of your intelligence not to have turned that up?
The question is, we are stating that we had no information on in the days or weeks prior to the raid that there was any type of battle plan in place or any call to arms operation that they had set in place. And in fact, we observed nothing to indicate that on the day of the raid. And isn't that a failure of our intelligence? I don't see that as a failure of intelligence. Intelligence is described as the best information you can get from the best source that you have. It's not absolute and it's not infallible. And I don't know of any intelligence that ever is either of those. We had the best information we could get from the best source we could get on all of the activities within the compound. So I don't characterize that as a failure of intelligence. I think that if in fact they did have a battle plan, which quite frankly I think they must have had some type of a plan to deploy into the 40 or 50 firing positions that they did, that if in fact they did have that, they did not share that with people outside probably a very close inner circle of the leadership of that compound. That is my educated guess on how that operated. We won't know the answer to that until the people come out and we have some feedback on it.